I found a video of my wife cheating on me, and I don't know what to do anymore. I never thought I'd be posting something like this. But here I am, 34 years old, sitting alone in my car in the parking lot, trying to put the pieces of my life together. I never imagined that my life would take this turn. If you're reading this, you might understand how I'm feeling, or maybe you've been there before. If not, I hope you never will be. I've been married to Tammy for 6 years. We met in college and hit it off instantly. We were that couple that people looked at and thought, they've got it all figured out. Honestly, we were happy, or at least I thought we were. We've had our fair share of ups and downs, like any relationship, but nothing that would make me suspect something like this. Let me rewind a bit. A few months ago, I started noticing small changes in Tammy. She wasn't as affectionate. She seemed distracted, and there were times when she would stay out late for work events or hang out with friends. I trusted her, so I didn't make a big deal out of it. But something fell off. My gut told me that something wasn't right, but I pushed the thought out of my head. I didn't want to be that guy, the one who starts making accusations based on nothing but paranoia. Then, about 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning out some old stuff on my computer. I know I should have been paying attention to my work emails or something, but I ended up going through some random folders. That's when I found it. It was a video file with a weird name, just a bunch of numbers and letters. I don't know why I clicked on it, but I did, and what I saw shook me to my core. It was a video of Tammy, but she wasn't alone. She was with 2 other guys. They were in our house, in our bedroom, in a way that made it clear they had been more than just friends. She was completely into it. She was laughing, touching them, kissing them. I skipped through it to see how bad it got, and it got bad. Worse than I was expecting. Although seeing your wife with 2 guys might sound horrifying, seeing them both in her at the same time, yeah, that's worse. I had to turn it off. It felt like the air was sucked out of my lungs, and I couldn't breathe. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Maybe it was an old video from before we were together, or maybe there was an explanation. But I recognized the room. It was our bedroom. I saw the sheets, the furniture, the artwork on the wall. It was our life. It was happening while I was away on a business trip, and that made it worse. I couldn't even get mad at the guys. What they did was terrible, but the person who really betrayed me was Tammy. I spent the next few days in a haze. I couldn't look at her the same way. I wanted to confront her, to demand answers, but every time I tried, I couldn't bring myself to say anything. What do you even say in a situation like this? Hey, I found a video of you cheating on me with 2 other guys in our bed. Want to explain? I kept hoping that maybe it wasn't what I thought it was, but deep down, I knew it was. There was no denying it. I've had a lot of sleepless nights. I've replayed the video in my mind 1,000 times. I've asked myself over and over what went wrong. Was I not enough for her? Was I too busy with work? Did she feel neglected? Or was it just something about her that I didn't see? I keep thinking that maybe I missed something along the way, some sign that could have helped me catch it before it got this far. But it's not just about the cheating. It's about the betrayal. It's about knowing that while I was trusting her, she was betraying that trust in the worst possible way. It's about the realization that the woman I loved, the woman I married, wasn't who I thought she was. I'm sitting here now, still trying to process everything. I don't know if I'm more angry or heartbroken. Part of me wants to scream, to make her understand how much this hurt me. The other part of me just wants to walk away and never look back. I don't know what's next for me. I never thought I'd be here, in this position. Part of me thinks I should leave and never look back, but another part of me wonders if there's a way to rebuild after something like this. I don't know if I even want to try. To everyone out there who's reading this, take it from me. If you feel like something's off, trust your gut. It might not be easy, but it's better to know the truth. Thanks for listening. I just need you to share this. Update. Plot twist. I got back at Tammy, and now things have taken an unexpected turn. Okay, so here I am again, but this time with a very different story. I know my last post was pretty heavy, and honestly, I didn't expect to be updating it. But life has a funny way of throwing curveballs, and sometimes those curveballs come with a little bit of sweet revenge attached. So, I'll be honest, I was fuming after I saw the video, and still fuming days later. I felt like I'd been hit by a freight train, and everything I thought I knew about my life just crumbled into dust. But here's the thing. Tammy clearly didn't care that she had burned our relationship to the ground. So why should I be the only one to suffer, right? I don't know if you can call it a revenge plot, or if I was just looking for some kind of catharsis, but I did something that, in hindsight, was a little crazy, but kind of liberating too. I mean, I still love her in some way, and the idea of giving up on everything we had built together was terrifying. But I was pissed. I needed to do something to feel something other than anger and confusion. So what did I do? I did what any broken man with a bit of pride left would do. I hooked up with someone. Her name's Jessica, 25, and she's one of my coworkers who had always seemed flirty with me. We'd always gotten along, and I never really thought much about her beyond just being a cool person to talk to at work. But after everything with Tammy, I guess I just wanted to feel wanted again. And I'm not going to lie, Jessica made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in months. One thing led to another, and after a couple of drinks after work one evening, we ended up at my place. Yeah, you can probably guess where this is going. We hooked up. It wasn't just a one-time thing either. It happened a few times over the next week. And in the spirit of revenge, or just pure spite, who knows, I did something I never thought I would. I recorded it. I had told Jessica about what happened, and she actually suggested it. I'd never want to use a woman that way, but she said it would be hot and would really hit home when Tammy found it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tyler, dude, what are you doing? But listen, I was hurt. I was angry. And at that moment, it felt like the perfect way to show Tammy exactly how it felt to be betrayed. I left the video on my computer, hidden in the same folder where I found her video. I didn't plan on confronting her right away. I wasn't sure how or when to bring it up. But a couple of days later, she found it. She came to me, holding her phone in one hand, looking at me like she was about to explode. The second she said, "I need to talk to you about something," I knew. She'd found it, and I could see the shock on her face. Tammy, the woman who had no problem betraying me, was now on the receiving end of that same betrayal. She was furious. She said I had no right to do that to her. I just looked at her and said, "You think you have the monopoly on betrayal?" And I told her about the video I found of her. I told her everything the other guys are bad the lies. Her face went pale, and for the first time in a while, I saw her lose control. She was speechless. She couldn't even argue. But here's the messed up part. Yes, it'd get more messed up. After that blow-up, something shifted. I'm not going to say it was instant forgiveness or anything close to that, but we ended up talking. A lot. We talked about everything. Our relationship, our needs, our problems, our future. And honestly, it was one of the most intense conversations we've ever had. Long story short, Tammy and I came to a surprising agreement. We realized that we'd both been living in a kind of emotional fog, avoiding what was right in front of us. After a couple of really deep talks, and yes, some awkward silences, we both agreed that we needed to be open about our desires and what we were lacking. So, here's the unexpected twist. We started inviting others into our marriage. Now, let me be clear. This wasn't some knee-jerk reaction to the chaos. It wasn't like I wanted to get revenge by turning our marriage into some kind of swinging free-for-all. It was more about exploring. We were both curious, and we realized that part of the breakdown in our marriage was the lack of honesty about what we wanted. We weren't each other's everything anymore, and that's okay. Relationships change. People change. So we opened up to the idea of bringing other people into our lives, and to be honest, it's been surprisingly liberating. We've had a couple of experiences with other people, and so far it's been a strange but positive shift for us both. There's no perfect ending to this story. I'm not saying Tammy and I are suddenly living in some utopian world where everything's perfect, but we're in a better place. We come to terms with the fact that our marriage isn't what it once was, but that doesn't mean it's over. We've redefined it in our own way, and honestly, it feels a lot less toxic than before. So yeah, I guess that's where we are now. Life's funny sometimes, right? You think you've got it all figured out, and then a video changes everything. But maybe that's how things are supposed to go. Maybe it's about finding new ways to make peace with your past while also exploring your future. Anyway, just wanted to give you all an update. Thanks for following along. Life's been wild, but I guess that's how it goes when you find a video of your wife cheating on you, and then turn it all into something completely unexpected. Update 2. Tammy, Jessica, and the new normal. All right, so I know some of you were probably wondering how things would evolve after my last post. Trust me, I didn't expect any of this to happen either, but here we are, and things have definitely taken an unexpected turn, or maybe I should say a few turns. So grab a seat, because I've got an update that's pretty wild and kind of, well, racy. Now, if you're expecting a traditional, lovey-dovey reconciliation story, this isn't that. No, instead, we've embraced a kind of open exploration situation. It started with just Tammy and I talking openly about our desires, what we wanted from each other, and then we realized that our physical needs were a little more expansive than we thought. We weren't ready to throw away the entire foundation of our marriage, but we also knew that it wasn't working to just keep everything in the confines of our bedroom. So we took a bold step forward, and that's where Jessica comes in. Jessica, as I mentioned before, was a coworker, the one I made my revenge video with, and she ended up being the catalyst for our shift in perspective. After everything with the video and the confrontation, we somehow ended up talking about things, and the chemistry between us didn't just disappear. In fact, it became kind of undeniable. So, here's the juicy part. Over time, Jessica started becoming a regular participant in our relationship, and not just as a one-time thing. We started inviting her over, and to put it bluntly, things got physical. At first, it was just the three of us. Tammy wasn't exactly thrilled about the idea, but she was open to exploring this new dynamic. And honestly, it was electric. The three of us started having these intense nights where it was raw and real, and we quickly realized that Jessica wasn't just a fling or a temporary fix. She became part of our regular situation. We've been seeing her at least once a month, and to say the energy between the three of us is insane is an understatement. But it doesn't stop there. Tammy and I also continued exploring other people together. The idea of shared experiences outside of our marriage was something we both found thrilling. So we started meeting other people together, always communicating, always making sure everyone was on the same page. We've had some wild nights, and honestly, it's brought us closer in a way I never expected. We've had a few really hot nights where Tammy and I are both engaged with someone else, and Jessica joins in to round out the experience. No jealousy, no drama, just a lot of chemistry and a willingness to explore. Honestly, it's a bit of a crazy ride, but it works for us right now. We're discovering parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. I know this might sound like a total shift from where I started this journey, but that's what's been happening. We've redefined our relationship in a way that feels right for us. We've stopped trying to force ourselves into a mold that wasn't fitting anymore. I'm not saying this is for everyone, but it's definitely something that's brought a lot of freedom into our lives. Tammy and I communicate better than ever, and Jessica has become more than just a regular guest in our dynamic. She's someone who's grown into this strange, yet fulfilling part of our lives. And to be clear, there are boundaries, respect, and open communication at the center of all of it. We've had our fair share of talks about feelings, about limits, and about how things can evolve. But what we've found is that by being open about our desires and creating a safe space for exploration, we've been able to maintain a sense of closeness and connection that was missing before. I don't know where this is all going, but I can tell you one thing. It's been an exciting ride. Tammy and I are stronger in some ways than we've ever been. We've gone through hell, sure, but we've come out the other side with a renewed sense of freedom and, dare I say, intimacy that we didn't expect to find. So yeah, Jessica is still in the picture, and so are the others we've been meeting along the way. But the difference now is that Tammy and I are in sync in a way we weren't before. We're not just partners, we're explorers, going on this crazy, wild journey together. Thanks again for following along. This journey is far from over, but I think I'm starting to understand that sometimes the best way to rebuild is to tear things down and start fresh.